we are. And this week's episode is about 1995.
95! Which is...
It's the year I graduated high school.
Yeah.
You graduated from high school?
I sure did! Which is a valid question since I went to East, so yes! Yeah, we did your year. We did your year.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's
Now
my
we're
year.
here. We are. 1995.
But before that, should we talk about some gall?
Yeah.
Aaron, do you want to start us off?
Sure.
What's your gall been for the last 3 weeks since we last
There's
recorded?
been a lot.
Okay.
But I'm going to narrow it down to one particular person.
A
Yeah,
person.
a
Oh, I love
person.
when you do this.
Mhm. So one of the activities that one of my children is involved in is swimming.
Mm.
And this requires multiple times a week that we go to a high school. And it is not our home high school because we don't have a pool. So we have to share with one of the Des Moines metro schools.
And remind us that your son is 9.
9,
Right.
right.
Mhm.
So this isn't high stakes yet, at least in our opinion. So the person that is running the program also is the head coach for the boys and women's team. So like this poor lady is just like run ragged. Like she's doing it all. So like I have nothing but appreciation for her. And she has said, hey, like this door won't be unlocked until 10 minutes before because I have a practice finishing before that. Like I need them, to not have the distraction at the end of practice of all of us coming in and the little kids trying to get ready. So long story short, we come in and the door to where the parents sit is tricky because you can't actually see a deadlock between the bolts. It bolts up top to hold it, right? So it's not 10 minutes too. We're a little bit early. So Mike tries the door and it doesn't open. I try the door and it doesn't open. And then we're both like, oh, obviously it's 10 minutes before, right? So we're standing there. At no point has anyone come and unlocked the door.
Okay.
So it's getting closer and closer to time. And the other parents are standing there. It's fine. It's no big deal, right? It's not a meet. It doesn't really matter when we get in there to see the kids practice. So this dad comes in and he tries the door and it doesn't open. Or I'm sorry, excuse me. Before he tries the door, he says, is it unlocked? And we say, no. Like that should be obvious by us standing here, right? I mean.
So he asked you and then he pulled the door.
Right.
Okay.
Then he looked at me in the eyes and pulled the door and it didn't open.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So I was like, yep, here we are.
Yep.
And this lobby's kind of small, so there wasn't a lot of space between us after this. And he's standing there and he's sort of looking at me specifically as though like I have somehow not unlocked the door after this thing. So then a few minutes go by, the door still hasn't been unlocked. Like no change. No one's come. The door hasn't opened. So like logic would tell you there's no change. He reaches out and tries it again while making eye contact with me. And I'm like, we're at an impasse. Like it's still locked. And he's like, sighs really big.
Oh, no.
Yeah, sighing.
I know you don't
again.
like
Yep.
sighing.
So we're
That's
still
no
standing
strap.
there. Still standing there. Another parent comes in. All of us standing there. Tries the door in front of me. And this whole time I'm like, it's a Saturday morning. I can't lose my cool at a swimming thing. But like, why do you think I'm standing here? Like I'm this dumb that the door's just, and there's another set of grandparents that always bring their granddaughters. And the grandma's just looking at me smiling, laughing, like, what is happening? I'm like, I don't know. So finally the coach comes and opens the door. And the original guy that tried it 3 or 4 times says, I thought it was supposed to be open 10 minutes before. And I almost said something. I didn't, but I went to where I normally sit and sat down and thought, that is such a fucking rude ass guy thing to say. First of all, you tried it 3 times.
Mm-hmm. While looking at you.
While looking, like
assuming
as if
that you were lying.
Yeah. Like I
You're a liar.
personally made it so the door wouldn't open.
Mm-hmm.
And then to say that to the coach, like she's getting done with a practice.
Like she's
We're
his
all
admin
still on
or something.
time. Yeah. Like, what are you doing? Like, calm down. But then,
Oh.
Uh-oh.
but then, it felt like there was finally karma for all the
Ooh.
gall in the world because I knew that he was new to this session. I had never seen his kids swim. And to watch someone swim but go nowhere is perhaps my new greatest joy in life.
Okay.
Because when I tell you that it defies physics, it defies logic, it defies pools, that this kid can float and move his legs and he literally stays in one spot. I'm telling you, all the other kids are at the other end waiting for this kid to get down there while he's swimming laps and he's just in the middle of the pool. And the whole time, all I could do was just inside be like, ha!
probably because of his great instruction.
It is. It's almost alarming.
Mhm.
Like, are you doing it on purpose? Like, are we dealing with
Maybe
a
he's
different
like,
issue?
my dad is such an asshole that I don't want to go home, so
Yeah.
I'll just stay in the pool.
And there's been a few times that he gets up and goes and stands by the ledge, and I'm like, what are you going to do? Yell at him to swim? Like, he's like, it's over, dude. New activity. This is not working. We're
Is
done.
there a floating team?
He'd be amazing. Amazing. I've never seen anything like it. And
Wow.
It's my new favorite thing. Just because of that.
Like a man.
Oh God, not a man.
I know. I'm sorry. I was really. I told Mike the story, and then he said, "Don't point him out next time. I want to pick him out."
Oh.
And he first try, I figured out exactly who it was. He's like, "It's that guy." I was like, 1,000%. Yep.
Well, I mean, it sounds like the kid and the dad had something in common, and they both just kind of spin their wheels all the time because the dad couldn't get that door open.
No.
Yep.
And the
Trying so hard.
Kid didn't make any progress in the pool.
Heath, what about you? Do you have a man that's causing you gall?
I don't.
Or a door.
I don't. I actually have a lesbian who's calling.
Whoa! Let's hear it.
Oh, yes. Ring on the gall.
It's Thanksgiving week here in
Sure is.
the United States of America.
Mm.
And yesterday I watched the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving special as a normal adult
On Apple
does.
TV for
Yes.
free? Nice.
Yes.
Mhm,
Yep.
mhm.
And the story of this basically boils down to Peppermint Patty invites herself over to Charlie Brown's house for Thanksgiving.
Mhm, mhm.
And then it's kind of rude when she gets there.
Every Thanksgiving story. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I didn't remember, it's been a while since I've seen it, but I didn't remember Peppermint Patty thinking Charlie Brown liked her.
Oh.
And she
Oh,
was kind of,
Patty.
I mean, it's like we all know she's a lesbian. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
That's
Marcy
well
knows,
established.
Snoopy
Yeah.
knows, and Linus
Uh-huh.
knows, we all know. But it was weird because I mean, it's kind of old, but the way they presented it, I mean, it was sort of, she acts like a man who's just like, I know you want to get with this. That's the way she acted. And then, Snoopy makes dinner. He makes toast, popcorn, pretzel sticks, and jelly beans.
That's a great dinner.
Yeah, and then she
I'm
complained
in.
about it. So she shows up.
Look, you've got a dog making
Yes.
you dinner.
A dog made you dinner. At least there's some food to eat. Ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am.
Also, the fact that there's a Marcy and a Peppermint Patty in the
Uh-huh.
same cartoon is sort of mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, and she invited herself, and then she called back and said, Marcy's coming too. And then called back and said, Franklin's coming too.
So she's just bringing a bunch of people.
Yes. And this is, I don't know, I wouldn't call this part gall, but Franklin's a young black man.
Uh-huh.
Did not speak the entire time.
Oh, no.
And I was just like, come on, Peanuts. You've got one black character. Let him say something.
So you just introduced him and then that was supposed
Yeah.
to stand on its own.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, I mean.
Franklin's coming
Yeah.
too. I love the idea of her just kidding. This is such a true Thanksgiving story.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then in the end, they all got to go to Charlie Brown's grandma's house.
Oh.
Was there turkey there?
Yes. There
Okay,
we
so
go.
she was
Mhm.
assuaged.
Yep.
Swatched.
So did she end up not pissed off?
She ended up happy, yes, when she got to go to Charlie Brown's grandmother's house.
Okay.
And I still don't know. No adults showed up in any way, in any capacity in this,
Hmm.
except for when Charlie Brown was on the phone with his grandmother. Like, they even got into a car and started driving away, and they didn't show adults driving the car. I assume off screen there were adults were driving the car, but
Or not. Maybe
not.
Franklin was driving
That's
the car.
wild. I don't think
Yeah.
I've ever seen Peanuts in a car.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
He
they
did
did not. They did not bring Snoopy and Woodstock.
After he made all the food.
Yes, they were just like, "Bye, bitch."
That's so
That's some
harsh.
Uh-huh.
That is some gall.
God, that's some poor holiday behavior.
Mhm.
Speaking of, my unmitigated gall is Thanksgiving.
Yes.
It's so much audacity, and I have 5 reasons why.
Oh, 5. There's a list.
You came in hot. Okay, I
Because
love
I
it.
hate this holiday. So first off, to claim a holiday commemorating the one time we didn't kill Native Americans, yay for us.
Yeah.
Second,
too.
it's from
Yeah.
Puritans, and those assholes ruined everything.
That's true.
Mhm.
Okay.
Third, to center it around turkeys. What did they do to deserve this yearly genocide? And also, before I wasn't vegan, turkey sucked anyway.
Okay.
Fourth,
But so turkeys, the animals sucked, but you don't want them to get killed, or you think
No, the
turkey-
actual cooked turkey
okay.
sucks.
All right,
Yeah.
I see.
So you're killing all these turkeys, and then it's not even delicious. So why are we doing this?
Okay.
Why are we committing this genocide?
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't explain that. Better.
Gotcha.
Are we good? Are we all clear?
Yeah,
on 1,
yeah,
2, 3?
yeah.
turkey
Okay.
genocide.
Okay.
Turkey genocide.
Got it.
Fourth, to force families together near elections, which is
Oh.
going to cause instant fights.
Mhm.
Like, why do we do that?
That's true.
Why do we do that?
That is true. Yeah.
Finally, to guilt us into doing this every goddamn year, traveling during the clusterfuck travel time, seeing people you don't want to see, eating things we don't want to eat, and then forcing us to do it again in 4 weeks.
That's always the thing to me is why is it so close to Christmas?
Why? In summary,
It's
do what I
arbitrary.
do and skip it and just watch movies.
Smart.
Fuck you, Thanksgiving.
Rotten hell, Thanksgiving.
Not today.
Not today, Thanksgiving.
So
Also,
much
forced
with
gratitude.
Yes, forced gratitude. Oh, damn, that was number 6. Forced gratitude.
Yeah, it's just why.
It's inauthentic when you're forcing gratitude.
yeah, no.
And when you have to go around a table and say what you're grateful for, you're not saying
I
what you're
hate
really
that.
grateful for.
you just made me sweat right now.
Yes.
Just saying that made me my
Because
pants
it's a
go wet
test. It's a
because-
test.
Yeah.
People want to hear I'm grateful for you.
I'm grateful for you and this meal and
No.
everything you do.
No.
When I have to do that, I always just say I'm grateful for dead ass. And then we stop.
Perfect. You know how to shut this shit down.
Uh-huh.
That's great. Yeah, that's what everyone that's listening, we would like you to march into Thanksgiving and
Yeah.
really think about what you're thankful for and say that. Say
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
actual thing
yeah.
you're thankful
Mhm.
for.
Uh-huh.
Whether
Fine.
or not it's a table stopper.
Even if it's, Pornhub, just be honest.
Find your
Even if
honest.
it's your med card.
Yes.
Your marijuana med card.
Be honest.
Find your version of dead ass.
Yeah.
Whatever dead ass is for you, that's what you should say.
Wait, are you saying dad ass? I thought you were saying dead.
No.
Either way, I thought it was hilarious. I didn't know which one it was either. Dad. Oh, you're making
Uh-oh.
Aaron joke.
To be clear, it's D-A-T, dad ass, not
Dad.
dad. No. Like
I
that.
was wrong. I thought it was D-A-D.
No.
And the thought of you saying that at Thanksgiving just got me so
But D-A-T at
dad.
Thanksgiving.
That's
yeah.
even that's
Oh,
Oh.
so we got it. Again, we're showing how cool and hip we are. That it took us 3 tries to get to what he was actually saying.
poor Heath goes home and is like, I'm working with the amateurs. Oh, wow, data. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Mhm.
Mhm. In fact, just say that, listeners.
Just say that.
Any of the 3 versions will
Any of
accept dead, dad, or dad.
Yeah. Or, just go in, if you have to do it, just go in with an experiment and just see how, many people you can piss off or
Oh, yeah.
something, you know?
Call your uncle daddy. You know,
Yeah.
whatever.
Focus, only eat one thing.
Uh-huh.
Be like the person that takes all the mashed potatoes.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Just
Say
take the
nothing
whole
else.
bowl. Just
Yeah.
sit down with
And this
it.
is all
Yes.
I'm eating, though. So
Yeah.
It's
This
okay.
is all it. Yeah.
Mhm.
So anyway,
Okay.
screw you.
Thanksgiving, unmitigated call. How dare you?
So watch here in 4 weeks. It'll be about Christmas, okay? Yeah.
Watch this space.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Basically, every holiday is going to be unmitigated gall, and I'll tell you why in 5 or 6 reasons.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we explore 1995?
Yeah.
There was a Thanksgiving in 1995, too.
There was.
It was terrible.
I guarantee it. Yeah.
Like all Thanksgivings.
That was meant to be your first year in college.
It was,
the
yeah,
Thanksgiving
yeah.
in 95.
So it was probably real bad. Because I think I was dating someone back home, and that may have been when we broke up.
over Thanksgiving.
Yeah, maybe.
Did he try to feed you turkey?
Probably. No, I think he said he didn't like having a part-time girlfriend.
Oh.
What does that mean?
That I actually went to college and he didn't.
Oh.
I don't like having a part-time girl. Ew.
Yep. So thank you, sir, for doing that. It was delightful.
Was it Terry Branstad?
Yes, it was. He had to tell me that.
It's a great name for a memoir.
Yeah.
Part-time girlfriend.
Part-time girlfriend.
Full-time lady.
I I think Was It Terry Branstad is also a solid
That's
name
a
for a
great
memoir.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a solid one.
Unless
So
you're
is
Terry
Was It
Badass,
Terry
really.
Branstad, the Amy Lillard story. Yeah.
I mean, I would buy it,
Great.
even if I didn't know you.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean.
Should we dive into
Yeah, let's
1995?
Let's get into it.
Aaron, let's go with you.
Okay. So I felt like when I was doing research that basically everything from 1995 fell into the line, Houston, we have a problem.
Oh!
Which that movie
Nice.
debuted that year. But
Uh-huh.
one of the weirdest things, saying a lot, given some of my other items on this list, was that I didn't realize that Drew Barrymore flashed David Letterman.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
During this, I somehow missed that as a
Really?
pop culture thing altogether.
was
So that was brand
huge.
new news to me. Wild! What a wild thing to do.
Mm-hmm. And it's that's not sexual assault, but it's
It's kind of
It's
weird.
right,
It's
yeah.
like
Suspect.
yeah, it's in,
Yeah.
it's in the same vicinity of a man just opening up a trench coat and like flashing someone.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, because there was a dancing. She was dancing and then
She
turned
was
her
only
back.
20.
Yeah, she was young and dancing on the desk and then turned her back and
Mm-hmm.
flashed him. Also, David Letterman.
Yeah, I know. Of all the people to flash,
I mean,
that's a poor choice.
it just sort of felt like it was shocking, and then there was a moment where I was like, actually, that kind of tracks.
Because this
for
was the
her.
time where she was trying to be an adult. She wasn't
Yeah.
a child actress anymore. And so she was really pushing that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like most of her stuff just feels like a swing that kind of missed.
Mm.
Like, she was at the forefront of she wanted to go back before the
Mhm.
actors and writers strike was over, and that blew up in her face spectacularly. And like, she's been trying to do all these like PR moves since then that have just not been going well. It's like, I think maybe just take a beat.
Hey, remember when we did a pop culture roundup for Broads and Books and you brought the Drew Barrymore in the Rain clip?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Where it was just her like, I'm in the rain and it's wonderful.
She's like, I know she doesn't drink or do drugs anymore. But, she's on something.
Yeah.
I don't know what substance it is. I don't know if it's just normally in her body
Mm-hmm.
or if it's something she's imbibing somehow. But she is.
Have you
she's-
watched any like interviews from her show? It is cringy.
Yeah.
It's weird. That's what I'm saying. It just feels like she's taking these swings that just aren't connected.
Yeah.
I didn't see it on the show, but I read that apparently Pauly Shore was on
Oh.
a couple weeks ago because that's where we're at now in
Yeah.
life.
Holy sure.
But he he told her how much he loved her and proposed to her on the show, and then that was like the end of the show. And then she said she'd answer him the next day, and then she just never answered him. And I don't know, I don't know if it was supposed to be funny. It seems like it was. It seems like that couldn't possibly be real,
it
right?
could very well be real.
I mean, it's Pauly Shore.
Yeah.
But also, what?
Mm-hmm. Apparently, Pauly Shore's mom, I think, told him that Pauly Shore's mother believes that Drew Barrymore is the woman for him.
Okay. Huh.
I don't. I mean, all I can think of is the Pauly Shore movie, the one movie where he was like the
Son-in-law?
son-in-law. Yeah,
Mm.
that's all I can think of.
Oh, I
I-
guess Encino Man too. He was.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
that's
all
right.
I think of is
Oh,
Encino
okay,
Man.
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Can you believe somebody in Encino Man won an Academy Award this year?
Sure did. Yep. Two people, because Ki-hee Kwan was in it too, in a small role.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yep. Like he was a nerd or something at the school.
Gosh. Balls in your court, son-in-law.
Get to getting. I don't know.
All right, what about you, Heath?
I'm going to start with a movie called The Net.
Whoa! That was cutting edge.
My edges were cut. They still are. The Net is a 1995 American action thriller film starring Sandra Bullock and Dennis Miller. For those of you that don't, Dennis Miller used to do Weekend Update on Saturday Night Live in the 80s, so he's obviously a natural fit for the material.
Yeah.
That is.
And he used to, I know in recent years he kind of swung to the right.
Yes.
A little bit.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I'm not sure. I think it's weird how many people from Saturday Night Live in the 80s, like Victoria Jackson did that, and Dennis Miller, how they're kind of.
Victoria Jackson turned
Yeah.
right? Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. She had a podcast or something a few years ago, and she kind of went off a little bit.
Oh, God.
So, yeah. Anyway, we got better stuff to talk about.
Yes.
What makes the movie so notable still today, I think, is that, and it's almost 30 years old, is that it's a pretty accurate snapshot of what life is like now. Sandy B plays Angela Bennett, a systems analyst, which is apparently a real job. I looked up.
Yeah.
And
Sure
they
is.
still do it today, and
Yep.
it's not just a generic term for a computer person,
Uh-huh.
which is what I thought. She works from home. And in the opening scene, she's shown ordering pizza online. It was 1995,
It
you guys.
was, and that felt like, that's amazing. I
Uh-huh.
want to do that.
Yes. I didn't even have a CD player in my car at the time.
No.
And she was
Wow.
ordering food without having to talk to anybody. I mean, like
That
a
was the
dream.
future.
Yeah, that was
the dream.
goddamn magician shit.
Yeah, like that's never gonna happen.
So, I mean, the plot of the movie, it's like this. So Sandy B's character receives a floppy disk in the mail from a coworker. And okay, so the floppy disk and the mail part, kind of dates the film. But stick with me. So the disk contains a security systems software program that is highly questionable. Sandy Bullock and her coworker plan to meet the next day so he can tell her about what's on the disk.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
He ends up dead, so she does the next logical thing and pulls a Ted Cruz and goes to Mexico.
That's right. Ted Cruz.
While in Mexico, a man who's working for the people that killed her coworker seduces her
Mm-hmm.
and have sex on a boat. I mean, she doesn't know he's working for her. Then he tries to kill her, but she gets away from him, and in the process ends up hitting her head on a dinghy, and she washes ashore like sea trash.
Oh, sea trash.
She wakes up in a hospital to find that her identity has been stolen, and somehow gets back to the United States. And Dennis Miller is her only friend, because again, she's a woman who lives alone, so she couldn't possibly know anybody else.
No.
Yeah. Oh my
Uh,
God, this is my life. I didn't realize this.
Do you know Dennis Miller?
Yeah.
Have you washed up like sea trash and not told us?
I'm a woman who lives alone, so yes, obviously.
Yes.
Right. And so the bad guys figure out that Dennis Miller is their only friend. So they hack the pharmacy mainframe computer and change his prescriptions.
That's right.
So Sandy Bullock goes and picks up his prescriptions and he takes his medicine and he dies because you can do anything with a computer.
Sure
Oh
can.
I know.
my gosh.
And so it turns out the program that was on that floppy disk is basically malware virus, and the bad guys were going to use it to take over the government or something.
Yeah.
But
Through a floppy disk.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Sandy B finds a computer programming convention and unleashes the bad guys' malware virus on their own servers. So the virus kind of
goodness.
basically destroys itself and then pushes the boat sex guy from Mexico off a catwalk to his death.
That's perfect.
Do you think that's how they pitched the movie?
I hope so.
Yeah. And they said boat sex a
I
lot?
hope they said
I
boat
hope
sex
they-
a lot.
I
I
really
hope
they
so.
did.
I hope
And they
it was
kept saying
originally going to be called Boat Sex.
Uh-huh.
And I hope they kept saying Sandy B too.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like after Speed, they were just like, obviously, more
obviously.
boat sex.
Yes.
Yeah. Mhm.
Or actually, Speed 2 is the boat one.
Speed
right?
2.
Yeah. So
Cruise
maybe-
control.
Right, yeah. It is wild, though. Of all the movies from the 80s and 90s that were, like, set far off into the future, this one is probably the most accurate. Because all the other ones were just, like, there'll be flying cars and, you can teleport and things like that. And, like, no, this is it. Like,
Well, and at the time, like, we didn't know what malware was or
Right.
ransomware or anything like that. And that's a daily concern now as
Mhm.
his identity theft. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And the idea that we kind of like figured out how to order pizza online and
Yeah.
we're like, we're done.
Yeah,
That's
we're
all
done.
we need technology
all we
for.
need.
Like we've just really hit a plateau since then.
Mhm.
Okay, we can order food. We're good.
mm-hmm.
I wonder if Sandy B knew that her movie would be extremely relevant 25 years in the future when everyone just went inside and never came out again.
Yeah. I don't know. You're a genius, Sandy B, if you're listening.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in keeping with the pattern I've sort of established, I found a weird one. And
That's what?
this out of nowhere, I want to tell you the story of Daniel Heiss.
Okay. Oh no. Oh no.
I say to you, that Daniel Heiss was a convicted murderer,
Okay.
and he was doing his time at a prison in Australia. And one day he noticed that the prisoner's information handbook he was given, which, by the way, do prisoners get handbooks? Maybe in 1995
I know
they did.
this
Do you know
story.
this one? Okay.
Yes.
So the handbook he was given when he entered the prison had a pair of crossed keys on the front. The keys were in the shape of an E, and they looked very similar to the keys that the guards were carrying for the prison cells. So Daniel Heiss, being an astute fella, he noticed this weird similarity, and so he told one of his fellow murderers, Shane Baker, because Baker was a jeweler
Mm.
who had also somehow managed to bring in jewelry making equipment into the prison. Maybe Australian prisons are different. I don't know.
Good for
It
you.
sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he had
Good
this.
day, mate.
He had this equipment in his cell. And so with that equipment, and then after a few attempts, they made an exact replica of the key, and it fitted all the locks. So Daniel Heiss left a message in his cell that read, "This bird has flown," and they both escaped the prison, even after scaling 3 razor wire perimeter fences.
Oh.
The jewelry making guy, jeweler, whatever, he was recaptured in a few days, but Daniel Heiss was on the run for 12 days.
I thought you were going to say as soon as they got out, like a crocodile ate him.
Oh, that would have been a good story. Yeah. We can pretend that's the story
Okay.
if you
Yeah.
want. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
After 12 days, a crocodile ate him.
You're right. The wildest part of the story is not that he made a key replica. It's that he
Mhm.
was given a handbook.
But he was given a handbook.
I mean, what?
Yeah.
If you want time off, here's how you
Yes.
request it. What? What's in there?
Maybe that happens in Australia, but I don't think there's handbooks over here.
No, I feel
No.
like no.
And you said he was arrested for murdering someone?
Yep.
Okay.
He was a murderer. But he was a smart murderer
Mhm.
because
Nice.
he spotted that tactical error. So whoever did the marketing for these handbooks, not great.
Mm-mm.
Not great.
So they had like 3 pictures on their computer, and they're
Uh-huh.
like, "Oh, this picture of this key will be fine."
Yep.
I don't want to go out and
I don't wanna
find
do
a
that.
different image to put on
Yeah.
the front of this handbook.
Well, remember, this was early days of the internet. They
Yeah.
probably didn't have a lot of stock photography, and they were like, this is fine.
Yeah.
What
They
could go
probably thought they
wrong?
were clever, like he's under lock and key. Get it? Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put a picture of the key on
And then
there.
someone brings up, hey, remember that guy has jewelry making equipment in his cell? Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Yeah, he's making something for my wife for Christmas.
Yes, it's fine.
Yeah.
That's how they
great.
do things in Australia.
No, they were just like, these koala molesters. They're not going to put any of this together.
No.
They don't know this.
Molester.
Yeah. What they didn't say is if there were any koalas in the prison. I mean, I'm assuming that maybe there were the pets there or something.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe that was covered in the handbook.
Oh, yeah.
That
I
once
bet.
you get in,
Yeah.
you get your own koala.
Right.
Maybe after, if you've good behavior, you get to like feed or, spend time. Your koala time can
Your
be
koala
lessened
time.
if you
Koala tea
commit
time.
other. That was the name of the second handbook. I'm going to take the key off.
Yeah.
So I feel like we could all take a little inspiration from Daniel Heiss,
Mhm.
Wow.
who, is just very observant.
Yeah.
Looked
Head on a
around,
swivel.
looked around his world, and
Mhm.
was like, "I spot something no one else does. I'm gonna
Yeah.
make a friend.
When you've got a problem, just look around for a solution.
Just look around for a
Mhm.
solution."
Just look around.
And usually it's a marketing error, and
Mhm.
you'll find the solution.
It's like the Pepsi "Where's My Jet" guy. It's marketing it.
Right. Yes. And then they all get eaten by crocodiles.
Mhm.
It's terrific.
Not the koalas, though. They
No.
were fine.
And then they start pumping out Hemsworths.
Maybe this is the Hemsworth dad. We don't even know.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe during those 12 days, he went and impregnated what's her face.
Oh, yeah.
And it started the Hemsworth line.
What's her face?
Mrs. Hemsworth.
Mrs. Hemsworth. Although I think the Hemsworths were maybe born in the 80s, but that's okay. We'll go with that story.
Well, I guess I'm going to follow that up with another weird one.
Okay.
And it's kind of dark, but I also just feel like I have not heard enough about this, and I'm wondering why, frankly. So after the 1995 Oklahoma City bombing,
Mhm.
that's the year that happened, which horrific, awful, but most people know about. It's a historical event now. I did not realize that they found a random leg in the rubble.
Oh.
And all of the other victims, all of their legs had been accounted for.
What?
And they have yet to figure out where this leg came from. Like, this is still a mystery that they have never solved.
Okay, I'm going to need you. Remember last week
Uh-huh.
when we talked about the roller skate or
Mhm.
at the roller skating rink when your Doc Martin was stolen, you
Mhm.
had put together some theories.
Mhm.
I'm going to need you to put together some theories
Okay.
on where this leg came from.
Okay.
What are you thinking?
First theory. One of the investigators is also a murderer and saw the perfect opportunity to get rid of a body.
Yeah.
And like no one is paying any attention.
Yeah.
Like that he's just like, "Oh, look, I found this other leg." And they're like, "What? No, we have all 168
We have all the legs.
other people legs. There's no legs missing." And he's like, "I don't know what to tell you. We found a leg." theory 1.
Okay, that's a good one.
Okay, that's theory 1.
Yeah.
Theory 2, it's not a leg. And the guy in the office that got the report didn't actually read it. And they've come too far. He assumed it was a leg. He told the news. He did all the things.
Okay.
And he doesn't know how to back it up now.
Yeah,
so he's kept the actual report secret for years.
Okay.
He's like, it's a mannequin leg, but I don't know how to tell you what it is. And he's just kept it in a locker and he's not talking about it.
And he figured it was better to just keep that secret than to dispel this mystery.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Third theory.
Okay.
The coroner / medical examiner is a female that they all made fun of frequently and didn't really listen to. It's 1995. She had a hard come up in the coroner's office. And she said, no, you dum-dums, it's not a leg. It's scaffolding. And they said, no, it's a leg. We already told our superiors. This is what we're going with. You're an idiot.
Or maybe because she'd been hassled so much, she has spare body parts just ready to go.
She just said, look at this leg.
Like,
came from there.
Yeah.
What are you guys going to do?
She's like, well,
I like.
Figure it
Because
out.
then she's just watched them try and research this for years. And they're like, I don't know. It keeps
She's
them
like,
up at night.
Those assholes.
Yeah. Fucking random leg.
Yeah.
No, of course all the legs were accounted for. Last theory is that there wasn't a lot of details about the leg.
Okay.
But my last theory is that you just didn't do enough police work. Like there's somebody else. There's another victim you didn't bother. Was there a homeless population? Was there something? But like if you actually found a human leg, you do have some responsibility, I feel like, to, finish this out.
It kind of feels like when they found the shark
Oh,
that lake, and they were just like, just a joke. It's fine.
Yeah.
That's
And
kind
no
of what it
follow-up.
feels like. They just dismissed it.
Yeah.
And apparently Timothy McVeigh at some point had been very vocal about saying that there was another person involved that they never found or discovered. And I don't know if he was sort of trying to indicate that this was this person.
Oh my gosh.
But people say that he sort of just found this information and was trying to use it as like, so it's tough. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of credibility. That's tough, but I would hope that they suss that out all the way.
Just missing a leg.
I know.
And nobody bothered to ask him.
Also, natural follow-up question is like, where's the rest of it? You found a leg. So that led to my other theories that somehow the leg just got put in the rubble.
Right. By the lady that was like, screw you, sexist guys. I'm going to show you.
I have two theories.
Oh, let's hear.
I have two theories just based on what we've collected
Okay.
here.
Okay.
Number one, the person who was in charge of the body parts spreadsheet was told you can't go home till everything's accounted for. And they were just like, fine. And they just filled in like, we got all the legs. I got shit to do. I got shit to do.
That might be the best theory we have. Yeah.
And then they found that later, and the spreadsheet guy was like, nope, this is
chance.
Obviously I have accounted for all of this.
Yes.
My other theory is Aviva Drescher from the Real Housewives of New York City. Famously only has one leg.
And likes to take it off.
Yes. And we'll throw it at you.
Oh my God, you're right. It's her original leg. She didn't like it.
Yeah.
Or her original prosthetic leg. I mean, not her actual leg.
Okay, so for those of us who don't watch The Housewives, let me summarize what I think I just heard.
Yeah.
One, there is a woman on The Real Housewives of New York.
Formerly on the Real
Formerly
Housewives
of New York?
She didn't stick around.
That had a fake leg, and she used that fake leg to start fights.
They were at a, all gathered around a table, as they sometimes are.
Sure.
And you could see this coming from like 10 miles away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because everyone was sort of saying, you're not being authentic with us. You
To
say
the one leg lady?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, she was a bitch. She had one leg, but she was a bitch.
Yeah.
They can coexist.
Yeah. And people were saying, no, you're not being authentic with us. You say one thing and you do another thing and stuff. And so you could see her in her response. She's talking and she's like, the only thing artificial about me. And she's reaching down to undo it. And she picks it up and she's like, is it this? And then throws her leg.
Oh my God.
And if you haven't seen it, you should go online and look at it, because there's a bunch of other people in the room and everyone's just like, it's a mixture of like, some people are just like horrified. Some people are laughing. Some people, it's just like, because they've never seen it before. If someone did that, I wouldn't know how to act either.
No.
You know?
And it's so shocking that I think your initial reaction is going to come out without you being able to
Right.
edit it. Like,
Mhm.
you're
Yes.
going to have a moment where you're like, what? You're right. There's so many reactions in that room to enjoy in that moment.
Yeah. So it was kind of like it's Housewives canon is what I would call it. But it's
Mhm.
also, I mean, that was her. I think that was her last season because it was, you got to
You
make
can't really
it
top that.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard to come back from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because also at some point, then you had to recollect your leg and reattach it. Like there's,
Yeah, that's a little humiliating.
yeah. And I only know that from Mr. Moon, my 9th grade earth science teacher, who would frequently undo his artificial leg
That's
to
what
get us to
sounded
be
familiar.
quiet
I remember you telling that story.
Oh,
I was like, why does this
and
sound
throw it over
familiar?
his shoulder. Like it would stay in his pant leg enough that he could throw it over his shoulder. And like kids in the class would freak out until he did it. Like he did it one time.
So
Like
he-
I think as a joke.
He unlatched his leg, but kept it in his pant leg.
like it from the hip.
Yep.
Oh wow.
And then like threw it over his shoulder like a continental soldier. Do your ears hang low? Nope, but your leg is fake. And he just threw it over his shoulder. And then everyone would be quiet because he did it one time, I think, thinking he was being funny or shocking or something. Well, then all that happened was that, 14-year-old heathens learned we'll just freak out until he does it. And they would get him to do it every class period.
And again, this is a Catholic school.
Yep.
Okay.
He only lasted 1 year, too.
Oh.
I was
Or
going
maybe
to say,
two,
like,
but it was very quick.
yeah, if that starts, then pretty soon that story is going to make it through the school and
Mhm.
everyone's going to ask him all the time.
You have no chance.
Do your leg thing.
It's over.
Yeah.
It's done. Like the minute you did it the first time, you sealed
It's
your
done.
fate. Yeah.
Well, I either like the the woman seeking revenge
Mhm.
Yeah.
for sexist assholes or the Excel guy.
Uh-huh.
I think the Excel guy makes a lot of sense.
It does.
Yeah.
That actually
Yeah.
tracks. Like
Mhm.
it's something that I feel like you could find out in 20 years and not be surprised by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they unseal these records.
Yeah. When they unseal these records. So I'm sorry. I know it's a little dark, but it was shocking.
We turned it light.
Mhm.
So
We did.
that's what we do.
Sure.
Sure.
We just have no reverence for
Nope.
the dead.
Heath, how about you? Do you have another theory? I see
like
you
beer
No.
transition for
No.
you?
Yeah, we're gonna pivot. We're
Pivot,
pivoting, everybody.
Pivot.
Take a deep breath. We're pivoting. Alanis Morissette
Yes.
released a huge hit album in 1995 called Jagged Little Pill. As most people know by now, that first song off of Jagged Little Pill, You Ought to Know,
Mhm.
was written by Alanis Morissette about her relationship with Dave Coulier, who played Uncle Joey on Full House.
Mhm, mhm.
And I cannot
pretty
decide.
gross.
I can't decide if that makes the song more cool or less cool.
Yeah.
Have you seen him do the interview where he said that when he realized it was about him, it was because of the line, "I'm sorry to bug you during dinner." He's like, one time she called and I said I was eating dinner. I'm like, that's
That's
the one. That's the line.
So just going down here on the theater is just fine. Like
Yeah.
you do that with
That
a
one,
lot of
no,
women.
that a lot of people did that, but
a lot of
only
people
one
do that.
person dared to call him during dinner.
Oh my goodness.
I read that too, and I thought that I kind of loved that he was just sort of like, yeah, she called me while I was eating. And then I was like, that seems like a dick move to bring that up after all
Yeah.
these years.
Yeah.
But, and that song particularly was never released as a physical single, so even though it was kind of a huge hit, it was never like a #1 song, because back then the way they track stuff, it had to be released as an actual single, and
Really?
it never was,
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't realize
That was
that. Wow.
monstrous. It was
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that song and the Fugees, Killing Me Softly, or Killing Him Softly. No.
Killing me softly.
Yeah, they weren't released as actual singles, so they were never.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
Wow.
changed that a few years ago. Another one of the songs off the album was that song "Ironic,"
Mm-hmm.
and
Mhm.
the lyrics of which people love to point out aren't actually describing ironic situations. And I will say that those people are not my people.
Calm down, everyone. Calm
Also,
down.
too, it was always people that you felt like thought that they were cool for saying that.
Yeah,
Or that
Like-
were somehow just coming down on her because she was a woman and
Yeah.
she was a woman musician. And why is everybody so
Is this
excited
even?
about
I mean,
Alanis?
everybody knows the guy that was like, "Is that even irony?"
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
like, do you know what it is?
Right.
Go
Right.
ahead.
And I kind of feel like that song "Ironic" was sort of a precursor to how people use the word literally now to describe things that are not literal.
Yeah.
And I do. I'm like, did she inspire a generation in a way that we haven't even considered yet? Because we've considered all the ways she inspired a generation differently, but like we hadn't even
You're
thought
right. I literally hadn't thought of that.
of that. Several years ago, Michael and I moved from one apartment to a different apartment in the same building. And
In the building you're in now?
No, in
Oh.
the Kirkwood building.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Before we were married.
Yeah.
And when we were moving into the second apartment, the superintendent in the building had apologized for it was a little bit of a delay for us to get in there because they were cleaning and painting from the previous tenant. And he looked at me and he's like, I'm sorry this is taking so long. That woman was a pig, literally. I just was like, okay. Because she wasn't literally a pig.
She was a human.
Yes, she was
as far as we know.
Literally.
Yeah, she was a messy lady.
Yeah. Oh.
Literally.
He was probably a guy that's like, that's not ironic.
That's not even what irony means.
She also kind of, going back to Alanis Morissette, not the pig literal.
Okay.
Right.
She was kind of unfairly labeled as sort of a quote unquote angry woman. Because she was pissed off, and she rightfully so in that song. You ought to know. I mean, who hasn't been pissed off at Dave Coulier once or twice in their life?
Just watching that show.
Yeah, you get cheated on by Uncle Joey, and you see if you're not bent out of shape about it.
Exactly.
Yeah, how dare you, really?
First of all, there's nothing wrong with an angry woman. I will say that.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
You're one of the good ones, Heath. Well done.
If you are angry and you shove that shit down inside, you'll end up with depression and anxiety, or worse, blotchy skin.
That's why my skin's so blotchy.
Oh man, blotchy skin.
Goodness.
Also, if you take the album as a whole, she's really not all that angry. I mean, there's that song that's angry. But ladies having an opinion in the 90s was often confused with the ladies being angry.
Very much so. And still today,
yes.
I would say.
Yep, I would agree with that.
Uh-huh.
And just one more thing about the album. Do you remember how it had a secret track?
Yes.
Which was a thing that's not a thing anymore. And it's too bad it's not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
What was the secret track?
It was called Your House.
Uh-huh.
And to listen to it, you'd have to listen to the last listed track on the CD and play it to the end, and then just wait in silence for a few seconds, and the secret track would start to play. Like, you couldn't just go to it.
I'm gonna have to re-listen. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
And I listened to that thing all the time.
Mhm.
It must have just sounded like one track or something.
Mhm.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, you probably know the song really well. You just thought it was another,
And it was literal.
Oh.
And I'm using that word correctly
Okay.
here. Hidden treasure on the CD. Literally.
Literally.
a hidden treasure.
And I will just say, too, I saw Alanis Morissette perform at the State Fair here in Iowa last summer.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds great. Sounded phenomenal.
I was supposed to go and it was raining, and I was like, well, I guess I'm not that big a fan.
I wanted you to stop it. I was supposed to go, but it was raining. Just end it there. Just be done.
But it's tricky, though. I mean, she's in her late 40s now
Yeah.
and singing lyrics that she wrote in her early 20s.
Yeah.
Like, they,
That's-
they're not perfect, but, they hold up pretty well. Like, I mean, she's a lot better off than Madonna having to sing like a virgin in her mid-60s.
Yeah, yeah, good point.
So,
Yeah, I feel like it's such a good album. It's so, and you're right that most of the tracks are not angry. There's some really lovely stuff on there, and just things that, it was lovely.
Canada. God love Canada.
Well, literally.
That woman was a pig. Literally.
Oh, landlords. Good times. I thought for my next one, I might give an update on the internet in 1995.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's Al Gore on the phone.
A special guest.
And I do this because I want to first note that I am historically bad at spotting technology winners.
Okay.
Because in 1995, when I went to college at University of Iowa, a friend from back home, she's like, oh, when you get there, sign up for an email address so we can keep in touch. I'm like, email address? What the hell is that? That sounds dumb. And so I did not. Because I'm really good at knowing when things are going to last. Besides that, in 1995, there were only 23,000 websites.
Wow.
The most popular web destinations were Alta Vista, Excite, GeoCities, Hotwired, Lycos, Mr. Showbiz,
Oh, God.
Mr. Showbiz.
What about-
Pathfinder, Webcrawler, Yahoo, and Suck.com,
Oh.
Oh,
which I had to find out what that was.
good. Okay.
It's
Suck.com.
about vacuums, isn't it?
Yeah, we're selling you the rainbow back.
Mashable said that Suck.com appealed to the 20-somethings of the 90s with its snarky social commentary. The site was active until 2001, when it declared it was going on vacation and never returned.
Oh, quiet quitting.
Quite. Also, the total number of internet users in the world was about 16 million, which was less than 1% of the total global population.
Wow.
Also that year, Amazon and eBay both launched.
Ooh.
Amazon launched with historically Jeff Bezos saying, "I want to sell fast and I want to grow fast.
Sell these books."
Yeah.
Shut
And
up.
then he turned into a terrible penis head guy. And, yeah.
In fairness, he might have been that before.
That very, very true. Good point.
He might have come into this being a terrible penis head guy.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
I wonder if he envisioned at the time that he would want to go up into space in a penis rocket.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah, I think that was on his
he
dream
probably
board.
did.
Yeah. I think he designed it. I think he drew a rocket, and
Mm.
it just happened to look like a penis, and he just embraced it. Yeah.
It's like, that looks really good.
Yeah.
Also that year, Match.com launched,
Yes.
which surprised me. I didn't realize Match had been around that long, and that internet dating had been around that long.
Did you read what the first thing sold on eBay was?
No.
It was a broken laser pointer.
Broken laser pointer?
Yeah, it didn't even work. Like what?
If that wasn't a precursor for the next 28 years.
I know.
Don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my internet update for 1995. I really enjoyed that there were 23,000 websites,
Mhm.
that less than
Yeah.
1% of the people in the world used the internet, and that I said email sucked.
I really like that part.
Yeah.
But also, just those websites, not a one of them really popular still. I mean, Yahoo.
No.
But
Yeah.
No, and I had to remember what Mr. Showbiz was. I think it was just like Movie Times, like an early version
Oh.
of Fandango or something.
how much more
Mr.
life
Showbiz.
has been dedicated to figuring out a better way to distribute movie
Yeah.
times?
And GeoCities was like a website builder where you could build your own website.
Oh.
And then Alta Vista and Excite, I think, were like early precursors of Netscape Navigator and stuff like that.
What about Ask Jeeves? Did you find anything on that?
I think he came later.
Oh,
Good old Jeeves came later.
Jeez,
it's always so thoughtful of him.
So thoughtful. He waited until all the riffraff was gone, and then he's like, "I'm gonna bring some class to this joint."
I remember I got an email address when I went to college too, and I remember how they formulated it. Well, like your last name and then your first initial, and then you had to add up like social security numbers and birthdays and stuff like that's how they figured everybody out, and they just assigned it to you. And you know what? Still use it today.
Do you really?
Not my you and I address. I use the the name part at the beginning because my last name's Smith. Like there's not a lot
Very
of
true.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
a lot of them were taken by them.
I remember, I eventually did, like, halfway through the semester, I got an email address. And it was at University of Iowa, and they formulated theirs at, blue.weeg.uiowa.edu. Like, it was ridiculous.
It was so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember in college when they put computers for the first time outside each classroom so that if a teacher canceled the class, you could check your email right there and see because it still wasn't like you weren't getting them on your phone.
Right.
It wasn't, you had to log into a computer and they only had it in the newer buildings. And I remember thinking like, this is crazy.
This is the future.
Yeah.
Also, in continuing that story of me being shitty about knowing when technology is going to win, in 2008, when the first iPhone came out, I was like, who's going to need a camera on their phone? That's dumb.
We need to make a new segment every week of what Amy said about this technology originally.
Because I'm good at it. I'm real good at trend spotting.
So I like
I
that.
want to know if anybody who met on Match.com in 1995, if they're still together.
Yeah. And what that looked like.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
because I remember in 96, 97, when I got a job at a computer lab and I would try and like download stuff from MTV.com and it would take forever. So who knows if people went on to Match.com and tried to load a photo like of, Val Kilmer from
Right.
Batman Forever.
That's what I was thinking. I'd wait an hour for this picture.
Or one of our friends who we will not name who talked about, trying to download porn in the late 90s and it just took a long time.
Oh no. Well, and if you think about like now, it's natural to say, "Oh, I met this person on an app
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever," but then people were probably like, "You what?"
I mean, you were kind of a precursor of meeting online.
Yeah, I met my husband online, and I remember when we told
I
his
didn't know
mom that, her response was, "Oh, I wish you would have met in a restaurant."
Because that was what, 2005?
Yes.
Do you want to reveal what site it was?
Oh, it was gay.com.
Yeah, it was.
It was what?
Gay.com.
Website names were a lot shorter back in the day.
That's amazing.
I love
I
that
did not
so
know
much.
this story.
Yeah.
That's terrific.
Yeah. And I should point out that tomorrow it's 18 years to the day from our first date.
Oh my goodness.
18 years. That's a
Yeah.
fucking
That
accomplishment.
is a huge accomplishment.
That
Also,
is
was that the
huge.
first date that you thought he was ditching you on?
Yes,
Okay.
I did.
Oh, no.
You want to tell that story?
Yeah, you got to tell that story.
We went to lunch at L'Ami Bakery here in Des Moines,
Okay.
and we had a nice time. And he talked a lot, and we were leaving, and we walked around the corner to go to our cars, and there was a yarn store, and he just sort of was like, "I'm gonna go in here and get some yarn for my mom." And then just said bye and left. And I was like, oh, I thought it kind of had gone well. It seemed to me like he was just ditching me. Like he wanted to get this over
Now
with.
we know it's a classic Michael
Right.
move.
Yeah, that's
Right.
like I didn't even seem shocked at first because that's tracked, but now I see. Yeah, on a
Yes.
date that would be alarming.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to ditch me for... That's a made-up excuse.
Uh-huh.
This yarn
Yarn.
bullshit. So,
Love that story.
18 years later, here we are.
I mean, he bought yarn. Like we've talked about the yarn he bought. He did buy yarn that day.
And maybe it was really good yarn because he was excited about the date.
Mhm.
He just didn't realize
Yeah.
that he'd been kind of a dick when he
Mhm.
left. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
18 years that's amazing.
Mhm.
Callfromgay.com. Is that still functioning, that website?
I don't know. We should look. Somebody, one of our listeners, please look and write into
Yeah,
the website.
let us know.
Yeah.
We're not going to do the work.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a computer here, but I'm not going to look
No,
at it. No, not going to do it.
No, we don't want that. Okay. Well,
Last one.
yeah, I'm going to tell you the one that I don't know how to feel about this yet today,
Oh.
but it affected me the most
Okay.
from 1995. And that was the death of Selena Perez,
Ooh.
who was
Oh,
murdered
yeah.
by her fan club president.
Mhm.
And I don't know if it was because I just had bad Spanish teachers, so we watched the Selena movie for like the rest of my high school. After that happened and they made the movie, I managed to see that movie quite a few times during school, which when I think back, I try and figure out. But I actually had her CD
Me too.
and enjoyed it and was just shocked. I
Mhm.
mean, it was shocking to think that someone that was sort of that close. I remember that all coming out like, oh, she was, people thought I was a crazed fan, and in a way it was, but then to
Mhm.
find out it was someone that was so close to her, and then that she was stealing money and she got caught, and it was just felt like this the first time I can remember feeling really depressed about the state
Right.
of the world. Like, wow, people are just really horrible to each other. And this is
Yeah.
another example.
You can't really trust the people that
Yeah,
are close to you.
yeah. It just was, yeah. And it must have stuck with me because I have seen that movie way too many times.
I've seen a lot too.
It's a great film.
It's a good
but,
movie.
I mean, just not one that you'd probably need to watch over and over and over.
But that
did.
felt like that movie also sort of started the singing career of Jennifer Lopez, didn't
Yeah.
it? Like, 'cause it was after that she released an album.
Don't put that on Selena.
Yeah.
You're right. Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Sorry, Selena.
Yeah, that's tough.
Don't speak ill of the dead.
Yeah. Don't put that.
It's not your fault, Selena. It's
No.
not your fault.
No. But that was a,
Yeah.
that was rough. And how just shocking to take someone that was doing something so big and, successfully and like probably would have had a great career. I mean, I
Mhm.
think that probably helped her career in the United States a little bit, the whole story, obviously. But she was really, cutting on the.
I mean, she was
cutting
coming
edge.
into
Yeah.
the U.S., right? Because of the English language album.
Mhm.
And yeah.
Rest in peace, Selena.
Mm-hmm. And we don't blame you for Jennifer Lopez.
Mm-mm.
Maybe secretly, but we
Okay.
won't talk about
All
it
right.
anymore. Yeah. Yeah. And I can't. I'm participating. We know this from Broads and Books. I participate in the J-Lo thing, which isn't a great source of pride for me. But
Yeah.
for some reason, the best way to get my anger out is to rap like J-Lo. And that probably says some more about J-Lo than me, but it's just true.
She's a good dancer. I'll give you that.
Yeah. Yeah. She was really good in Hustlers. She was really
She
good.
was
at that.
good
Yeah.
in Hustlers.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I don't know. It's not a phenomenon I can explain, but there's something about, there is a release for me. I only do it in my car.
Mm-hmm.
It's only one particular album
Mhm.
of J-Lo's,
Which one?
Jenny from the Block.
Sure.
And I know all the words to all the songs. I know
Mhm.
all of J. Rule's part, Ja Rule.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's not great, but it is a release. So
Listen, we're not judging our tastes.
You're not
See,
hurting anybody.
No.
it's on its own playlist on Spotify. It's a separate thing because I don't
Wow.
want to you don't want to accidentally get a J-Lo song when you're just listening to music, like doing other things, because
Okay.
it's for such a specific purpose.
So that's your anger list.
It's my anger list.
Okay.
It's like I'm having a really shit day. and I'm by myself. I have to drive, probably taking someone to an activity or picking them up. Usually picking them up because they're not in the car. And
Does your family know if you're listening to J-Lo, like, to just cool it?
yeah, I think Mike does. Yeah, I think Mike does. I don't think the kids have picked up on that yet, but yeah. And it happened accidentally because at one point we were in the car, and some J-Lo song came on, and he realized quickly that I knew all the words, and he was like, "I am questioning why you know all the words to this," and I was like, "Oh." And then I had to remind him that on our second date, he knew all the words to Fancy by Reba McEntire. I'm like, do you want me to?
That I love.
So did I. It's one of the top 10 reasons we ended up getting married.
So he revealed himself
He
pretty
did.
early.
And like didn't realize it too, which was part of what was great about it. Like he just started singing it and I was like, so then I was just singing so that he didn't feel uncomfortable, and then at the end I was like, wow, mind blown.
Oh, Mike contains multitudes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
layers, an onion.
I knew all the words to "Baby Got Back," and I recited those to Michael on our third date. And that he had said that is what I sealed the deal.
You just don't know what it's going to be.
Wait. Paint a picture. Was the song on?
No, I was
You
singing
were
it from
just-
memory.
Oh my God. And Michael's like, give me that man.
Yep. We were at
Do
Court
you
Avenue
still
Brewing
know all the
Company.
Oh
Uh-huh.
boy.
I do.
All right.
Who knew that was the key to Michael's heart?
Oh.
What's your last one, Heath?
My last one is a little film that you maybe have heard of
Oh.
called Showgirls.
This was 1995?
Yes.
I thought you were going with Clueless,
I
honestly.
missed it.
Yeah. I mean, Clueless is a great film.
Yeah, but
It's a
it's
cultural
no
touchstone.
Showgirls.
It's no Showgirls.
It's not, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So Showgirls is the story of Nomi, played by Elizabeth Berkley from Saved by the Bell, who arrives in Las Vegas with only a suitcase and a dream. Unfortunately for guidance counselors everywhere, that dream is for her to become the best showgirl who has ever showed girl.
This is how they should have pitched it.
Yes.
Nomi eventually meets Crystal with an I.
Obviously. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The Stardust Casino's marquee dancer, and Crystal with an I, her powerful boyfriend Zach, who make Nomi feel like her dreams are within reach. But is it all worth it? That's really the question at the end of the day.
Oh, is it? Is it
It's
worth
tough.
And I will say this about Showgirls: if you thought Elizabeth Berkley was chewing up the scenery when she played Jessie Spano addicted to caffeine pills on Saved by the Bell, then you will be pleased, or maybe saddened, to know that was just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to her overacting.
Yeah.
There's a scene where she's being intimate with Zach, who is played by Kyle MacLachlan, also
Yes.
big 90s guy, in a pool, and she is just flailing about. And if I didn't know better, I would have thought someone dropped a toaster in that pool with her.
Wait, was she supposed to be having sex?
They were supposed to be having
Oh,
sex in
and
the
she's
pool,
just-
and she's just like, I don't know. It's just like, I mean, sex with a lady is not my cup of tea, but if this is the way it's supposed to be, like, I mean, someone's going to get a concussion.
Can that be this episode title? Sex with a lady is not my cup of tea.
That's the title of his memoir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yes. Sex with a lady is not my cup of tea, Is
But
that
he's
Terry
like-
Branstad, the Smith story?
Good. Can't wait to read it.
Mhm.
It's a bestseller already.
I will say the pool and the water deserved better. And so did Kyle MacLachlan, frankly.
Kyle MacLachlan definitely did.
It's weird because I think of this about a handful of movies. We all know the kind of movies that so many people are involved in making them. And it's like, did it not occur to anybody, like, this is terrible? Like,
How did no one say
Right.
anything at
like
any
the
point?
director, the producer, anybody.
Mhm.
Like, how did nobody not put this together? They're making trash.
Yeah.
Here.
I remember the prevailing feeling too, being like, how could she do this movie?
Yes.
She was on Saved by the Bell. Like
Uh-huh.
that was some sort of Puritan show. And she went off to do Showgirls.
This was her version of Drew Barrymore flashing
Yep.
David Letterman.
You're right.
It was her becoming an adult.
I'm
Yeah.
a grown up now. Yeah. So I also found out, speaking of Drew Barrymore, there are some actresses that were allegedly considered for the role of Nomi before Elizabeth Berkley was cast. Drew Barrymore is one of them.
No.
Pamela Anderson.
Okay, that
Oh,
tracks.
yeah.
I get on board with that.
Angelina Jolie.
Oh.
Jenny McCarthy.
Oh my God.
Denise Richards. Okay, yep. Totally get that.
This is
Yeah.
a 1995 list.
Yeah, that's a very 95 list. But
Mhm.
there's some. How did they end up at Elizabeth Berkley if there were some of those other names thrown out? Do you think they said no?
Maybe they were the ones that said this movie is trash, and everyone
Mhm.
said, nope, you're out.
Mhm.
Because, I mean, if you think Denise Richards, Angelina Jolie, I mean, some of those in that role,
Right.
I mean, seems to really track.
Mhm. I don't really see Denise Richards putting that much energy into the pool sex scene, just the
No.
flailing.
No.
So yeah, Showgirls was the first and still the only film to be rated NC-17 and given a wide release at the North
The
American
only one?
theaters. Yep. And if memory serves, I didn't go look this up, but I remember it playing at the movie theater in Cedar Falls. at
I think it played in
college
the- yeah.
for
Yeah.
summer, yeah. But I don't know anybody who went to see it. Because the NC-17 thing, it kind of felt like you were going to watch a porn movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're just in the mall. It just seems strange.
Yeah. It seemed like high risk of being in there with people that you didn't want to be in the movie theater
Exactly.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't make a lot of money when it was in theaters.
Imagine that.
But it was a huge hit on home video.
That tracks.
Everyone wanted, their own little porn at home.
Yeah. And I think I don't think the NC-17 version was available at Blockbuster. I think they did an R-rated version, but you could rent it. But I have some dialogue from the film.
Oh,
written down here.
yes. Let's hear
I love it when he
Yes.
brings dialogue. It's my favorite.
Just a couple.
Okay.
One line, one of my faves is, "You shouldn't get pissed off. It makes you look older." We've all been through that. Is that person old or just pissed?
You know what? Who knew they were bringing truth bombs like that in Showgirls?
Maybe when you're listening to J-Lo, you look really old.
I look
and we
so
don't even, yeah,
old.
Yeah.
So old. Because nothing screams old like J-Lo.
She'd love to hear that. So here's an interaction between Crystal and Nomi. Crystal, I've had dog food. Nomi, you have? Crystal, long time ago. Doggy chow. I used to love doggy chow. Nomi, I used to love doggy chow too.
What?
That was an actual exchange in the movie they were talking about, but they didn't ever go back to it. They never referred to it again. Why would they just be like, I ate dog food? And probably my favorite line from the whole movie, Zach says, "Nice dress." And Nomi says, "Thanks. It's Versace."
It's Versace.
So is she supposed to be a dummy in this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
All right.
That quote reminds me again. Michael's been so thrilled because we keep bringing him up on
Oh,
this.
good.
But he had when he was in graduate school, he had a student he went to was in his classes, and they were at some sort of event, and someone commented on her dress and complimented it, and she said, "Thanks, it's hot cooter." And she meant hot couture. And she said hot cooter.
Can we rename the podcast to that?
There's no more today.
It's Hot Cooter. That's our new podcast name, everybody.
Oh my god. Oh, to witness that had to be so incredible.
So, Showgirls.
Oh my god. Oh my.
Oh
Okay.
no. Okay.
Well, I can't top hot cooter. I've just got to.
Not with that attitude.
Not that attitude. I've just got a very short snippet to leave us with, which is
Okay.
the story of the Nobel Prize in Economic Sciences.
Oh.
And the winner was Robert Lucas Jr. For what? I don't know. I didn't look that far. But what I do know is that Robert Lucas Jr., when he received his Nobel Prize, was only awarded half the prize money because his ex-wife had placed a clause in their divorce settlement in 1988 saying she would receive half the prize money if he won the prize in the following 7 years.
She made it just
Aw.
under the deadline.
Just under the deadline. And talk about
What a
just...
very specific clause.
Yes. It's like she knew the future and she wanted to really dig into him. Like, oh, you love your job so much?
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna take your half your money.
sacrifice for that prize too. Take
Is that
my
what-
hot cooter and your prize money.
I think that's the plot of Waiting to Exhale also.
So I just wanted to applaud that lady. I thought,
Good for you.
that's well done.
Mhm.
X.
And maybe with your
Robert
money,
Lucas
you
Jr..
you bought some hot cooter.
I hope so.
I hope so too.
I hope so too.
I almost am reluctant to name the episode Hot Cooter because it feels like it gives away the end.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use other terms.
I think you
to
should.
just-
Yeah.
And save that for a surprise. Like you make it all the way through and
It's a
here's
treat.
what you get.
It's like the hidden track.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
the hidden
You
track.
you make it to the end. You get
See,
hot
listeners,
cooter.
you got to listen all the way through.
You
for
just
the good
never
stuff.
know.
You
Yep.
never know.
Never know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Never know where this is going.
There was so much more in 1995 that we didn't get to,
There was actually.
which is another reason we're probably going to revisit
Mhm.
these years in the future.
Mhm.
Speaking of, you mentioned Jenny McCarthy. Do you remember Singled Out?
Yes, that actually
Yes.
debuted this year.
It
in
did?
1995, yeah.
I loved that show. Is that bad?
I remember watching it. I also remember thinking she was kind of an a-hole. Like,
1000%.
I mean, I think maybe everybody on that show was an a-hole, including the contestants, but still.
Well, and
Yeah.
maybe she was revealing herself because then she turned into just a giant a-hole
Mhm.
later on.
Yeah.
Went down vaccine conspiracy land and led the charge for many
Mhm.
people.
She's married to Donnie Wahlberg now.
I keep
Remember when
forgetting
she was
that.
with Jim Carrey?
Yeah.
Mhm.
She was
Melissa
doing-
McCarthy's her cousin.
That is
They're
so weird.
cousins?
Yeah.
I know what branch of the tree I'd rather be on.
Yep.
I've stunned the room. In
Yeah, like my brain won't compute that together.
Hmm.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. That's a weird Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Which is another reason to skip Thanksgiving.
That's
See the
another
beginning of the
unnamed gala
episode.
Thanksgiving trying to sneak up on you.
So yeah, this episode's going to come out the day before Thanksgiving. So if you need an excuse to get out of this atrocious affair, just, refer to any of the reasons that I just said. Just say what Heath told you to say. Just do any of it.
Any of the three versions.
Any of it. And we back you 100%.
1,000%.
Yeah.
We'll see you after Thanksgiving.
See, yeah.
Couple weeks. How about that?
And then we'll prepare you for the dread around Christmas.
Something to look forward to. All right.
Oh, ho, ho.
Fuzzy Memories is a Broads and Books production. It's hosted by Heath Smith, Aaron Johnston, and Amy Lee Lillard. The show is produced by Amy Lee Lillard. Follow us at Fuzzy Memories Pod on Instagram for clips and highlights. And follow us at Broads and Books Productions for updates on new shows coming your way. See you next time.